Shut up. What do you... Hey, look, eyes forward, goddammit. You want to march in my formation? You're in the goddamn military. Right face, forward march. And I would call nasty cadences, and I'd be just a raging asshole, and I didn't care. Because fuck it, that's the way it's supposed to be. You're marching guys, soldiers go to war and do horrible shit, have horrible shit done to them. I think overlooking a potty mouth is really not that big of a deal. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode, live from the Lair. It's July 3rd, tomorrow's July 4th. Don't really got much going on, my kids are with their mother for this holiday, even though, I don't know, I always enjoyed the 4th of July because I like to blow shit up, but, what are you going to do? I'll figure something out. Now, normally, when I was at, Southfield, Michigan, AGR tour, in the years, 2008 to 2013, every 4th of July, we would do a parade or a parade, either wheeled or on foot. Usually, part of it was always on foot, and I was always the guy calling cadence. I'd march, usually I'd have about a platoon of guys fall in, and from my unit, I'd have some stragglers, some other units, and then I get all the kinds of the VFW guys and all the other, AM Legions and all the other vets that would want to march, and they would always get a kick out of it. But I would talk to them like I would just normal troops. And I don't care if they're on walkers and they're fucking 90 years old. I'm like, hey, that's bad. Fall the fuck in. Shut up. What do you... Hey, look, eyes forward, goddammit. You want to march in my formation? You're in the goddamn military. Right face, forward march. And I would call nasty cadences, and I'd be just a raging asshole, and I didn't care. Because fuck it, that's the way it's supposed to be. You're marching guys, soldiers go to war and do horrible shit, have horrible shit done to them. I think overlooking a potty mouth is really not that big of a deal. What you think? I don't know. But yes, I did get yelled at quite a few times for that. In fact, every year I got yelled at. And, did it really matter? No. Did it stop my behavior? No. All right, you gotta bear with me, gentlemen. I'm just getting off a terrible headache. So, if you guys don't know this, I got blown up in Iraq, and I deal with a lot of pain issues. So, and sometimes it's really bad. Sometimes it's a dull roar, and sometimes it makes life pretty fucking difficult. But you gotta do what you gotta do, So you take some hydrocodone and drink some booze, and you'll be just fine. Now I'm just fucking with you. Don't mix. Don't do like I do. Don't mix pills and booze. Even though I have taken my high blood pressure pills on the show quite a few times, and washed them down with beer. Please don't follow my example. All right. From 2009 until roughly 2011, when Dina finally had to fucking leave, there were a lot of fucking problems with the staff. She sent every single person there to Fort Bragg for a fit for duty. In fact, she sent so many people to Fort Bragg for fit for duty. Fort Bragg actually sent her a formal email, a cease and desist, and they would not accept any more fit for duty requests from her because she had sent like, I think 17 or 20 of us, 20 guys down there for fit for duty, and it was just, I think they could just see that she was using it as a tool of intimidation and not an actual commander's tool. I slipped under the radar. Luckily, I had surgery done prior, like 21 days before the fit for duty. Now, I was suffering. It wasn't a life-threatening fucking illness, but it was one of those low-grade fucking things that doesn't go away or didn't go away without surgical intervention. And I tried every snake oil, fucking all kinds of shit, yoga, the whole fucking deal, drank all kinds of fucking herbal teas, cleaned up my diet, did everything. Nothing helped. All right, I was just fucking fucked up 3 ways to Sunday. It just, it's the only nice way I could put it. I was dealing with that on top of, all the other horse shit in regards to being wounded in Iraq. And during that time, I was able to control the headaches with Excedrin and Motrin. And, over time, those became, less and less effective until they just don't work anymore, period. So, and that was pretty much it for me. I mean, I would have liked to stay in for 37 years, but I only made 33. So, it is what it is. Maybe I'm just being a little sentimental because, 4th of July tomorrow, and I'm no longer in service. I'm not marching anybody anywhere. I don't know. I guess I'll get over it. All right, now, Dina had the staff all under so much pressure. Her one other it's a civilian assistant. He's like a UA kind of SSA. I don't know the terms, but he developed pancreatitis, which is pretty fucking painful. And I think he developed that because that night he was probably drinking his fucking ass off, and was on the verge of going through a divorce, which I think he's already done. If he's still alive. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not going to say his name. Even though he has the profile of a rat. I'm sure that's not the first time anyone's ever said that about him, but it is what it is. We had another staff sergeant who got later promoted to sergeant first class, who had a bona fide DWI, and the command knew about it and didn't say or do anything about it. Except, send this particular soldier to AA. All right, now, the guy had his fucking problems. He was wounded severely in Iraq and apparently died on the table 2 or 3 fucking times. So I am no way fucking judging this man at all. All right. But I'm just saying, it was a pressure cooker. It was just a fucking pressure cooker. And, I remember we'd go to these morning meetings, and she would make these off-the-cuff fucking remarks to people. It was just insane. It didn't really bother me much. I mean, I'm a former infantry guy. I've been yelled at by the best of them, called every fucking name in the book. And the favorite names I was ever called were all original. But she was just nasty to everyone, and caused a lot of fucking problems. Now, just talking about this bitch, man, it's fucking drove me crazy. All right, so, and I remember one of the other UAs there, I'm not going to say his name, actually showed me the email that Bragg had sent. He printed out a copy of it and gave it to me. And I actually read the email and basically said cease and desist all future fit for duties. Fort Bragg will no longer honor your requests, something like that. And very politically correct terminology, which basically said, fuck off, we're not doing it anymore. And, I laughed about it. Now, I would, I myself would deal with the pressure. I went and ordered a Muay Thai heavy bag from Tidal, had it delivered to the unit, and then I would hang it up in the supply cages, and I would go down there and hit that bag for an hour, 3-4 times a week. I didn't do my PT in the morning all the time because I'm old and I fucking hate doing PT in the morning, because sometime after about 33, 35-ish, doing PT in the morning started to really fucking hurt. So, I would do the PT, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, for an hour, and then I'd finish up my rest of my afternoon, do what I had to do. But this one of the full-timers that worked at the unit just fucking had just a hard-on for me hanging up the fucking punching bag. It wasn't in anybody's fucking way. I put the supply cages were there, and then there's a hallway that goes through, and there's like a 6-foot fucking gap. And I remember I had put a 4x4 up there, and I had used about a dozen flexi cuffs on each side to secure it to the top of the cages. And I just hung the bag there. And I would leave it there. And then, somebody would fucking come up and say, hey, Storm Pump, man, I wanted to put your bag down. And this was, this particular individual, rat face, said we couldn't have it up there and made me take it down. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. And I just put it back up there and do my fucking deal. And, and that's just how it went. And then, another thing I would do is I would put on, and I did this just to fuck with people, because, when you're over, 33 in the Army, you're the old guy, all right? And I think I was 43, 44 years old. So I would put on the carbon fiber, combat gloves, and it's basically the closest thing to brass knuckles that you can have and not get arrested for. And I would go out back and I would get a couple of the pallets and I'd set them up against the cage. And then I would punch the pieces of the pallet, the wood, and I would, I'd break hit it hard enough to crack or break the boards. I would go through usually almost 2 pallets every time I would do that, and then it took a while, and I would have bruises on my knuckles and everything like that. But I remember a couple of supply sergeants were down there watching me do it. And I remember one of them walked up and he's like, Sergeant Pop, why are you doing that? And I'm like, well, if I have to punch somebody in the face, there's usually a mark and there's bleeding and then there's people ask questions. I don't need that. So if I have to beat somebody's ass, I'm going to break their fucking ribs, and I'm just practicing. And they'd be like, oh, fuck, man. Fuck that. I would never want to get hit by that shit. Yeah, fuck it. I still do that from time to time, but not as much as anymore because things don't heal up as fast anymore or efficiently. So it's best that I don't fucking, push the curve too much. I'm just basically trying to maintain what I got until the inevitable dirt nap comes. All right, now another thing I would do every year is I would build into the training schedule basically a trip to a paintball range. And I would, label the tasks, fire and maneuver, engage targets, the M16, blah, blah, blah. And then usually I'd throw in about $40, $60, somewhere in there for the paint and stuff like that. The commander would throw in about 100, 150. And then I would, I'd go and ask the soldiers usually kick in $5 to $10 a piece. And we'd roll in at the paintball area right around like 10 o'clock in the morning. And we'd go till 3 in the afternoon. And we would go absolute fucking crazy. And it got to the point I got people blowing shit up next door, so you gotta bear with me. Now, one time we were out there, and it was all of us, and there was a bunch of kids, and then there was, I think it was Toyota was doing a company event, and they had like just an ass load of people. So I had my company of guys up against, I think, 3 times our number. And I remember the guy who ran the paintball range was like, you know, that Army stuff's not going to work, right? We're like, oh, yeah, okay, you're right, yeah, it's not going to work. Fuck, that's all we did. Put down a base of fire, bound up in fire teams, and fucking cleaned their clacks. It took like 30 minutes, and we had everyone fucking dead. I think we lost, I think we sustained like 20% casualties. We just wore them out. It was absolutely fucking awesome. In fact, after we got done, you know, kicking the shit out of them, the Toyota guys just fucking left. Yeah, wow. You know, and I did the same thing at the 403rd a few times, even though it wasn't as spectacular as the paintball ranges that were in and around Detroit, because there's way more population, and I guess it was more popular, you know, in the Michigan area. Now, right around 2000 and let's say 2013, like, you know, when I got my PCS orders. Now, anyone who's ever been in the military, active duty, you know you get moved every 2 to 3, 4, 5 years. That's just the way it is. Now, if I was National Guard AGR, you work at a unit, you pretty much stay there for your entire career and you're done. In the Army Reserve AGR, they move you every 3 to 5 years. They kept me there 5 years. I got 5 years to hang out with my kids. I got, by that time I was seeing my kids, 3 weekends a month. I had my ex-wife in court, right after the divorce, like every 21, 22 to 28 days for almost 2 years. I had her in court all the fucking time. You know, she would play games, with my kids. She would let them out of the car, blah, blah. It just got to the point where I'd receive any fucking problems the next day. I was in Macomb County filing a motion. I learned how to do all this shit myself. And it just became a war of attrition. I had to pay $75 filing fee, and every time she showed up, she brought an attorney, and it was running her, $800. But I know she was only paying $5 because that's how they work. Women attorneys always charge less to women, in my opinion. Plus I had some inside intel, told me the truth. So I had a hard time with that. So I had to break it to my kids, that, come the middle of, next, summer, I'm going to have to move away. And my oldest was like 11, 10. The youngest one was like 7, 8-ish. Cried their eyes out. It was heartbreaking. It was just heartbreaking. And they're like, we're never going to see you again. Oh, my God. It was just terrible, And I told them, I said, listen, I'm probably not going to come back and see you 3 times a month. Okay? That's probably not going to happen. But I'll come back and see you 2 times a month. We'll do 2 weekends a month. I promise. And I'm really, I'm a big guy keeping my fucking word. And I knew this day was coming, so I had saved up all my leave. And back then, you were allowed to have up to 90 days in the bank. And that's exactly what I did. That was the beginning of Operation 10 Horizons. I'm going to do a documentary on it one of these days. And I filmed, my trips back and forth when I drove back to see my kids. 571 miles. For 5 years, I filmed those things. Winter, summer, spring, rain, snow, sleet, the whole fucking deal, man. And it was hard. But that 90 days of leave that I saved up helped out a lot. And there was a couple times in the beginning where, had like a 3-day weekend. No Friday. Didn't work Friday, didn't work Monday, or didn't work Friday or Monday. And I would have my bag packed. I lived out of a rucksack. It was in my trunk. I'd walk right out of work, fire up the old cruiser. Back then I had a Riviera, which I drove into the ground. Buick, 96 Buick Riviera. Love that thing. Great gas mileage, fast. That's another side note. And I would turn on the GPS and go. And let me tell you, there was only a few times that I missed, and that was because I was at JRTC or I was doing some other shit for the military. It was like an unwritten rule. Sergeant Pop's gonna see his fucking kids, and Sergeant Pop is gonna go see his fucking kids. What are you gonna do? That's just the way it is. I'm blessed I was able to do that, and I had the intestinal fortitude to gut that whole thing out for 5.5 years. But, I'll talk about this again in other videos while I'm covering all the New York stories and stuff. But, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, you have a good 4th of July. I'll talk to you later.